Hello everyone, and welcome to this special Instagram Live with Guerlain. I'm Lindsay Tremuta, an author and journalist based in Paris. But today I'm coming to you from the south of France, specifically the French Observatory of Apidology, which is a center that studies and researches the behavior of honeybees. It's where 8 women have been training for the last month to become professional beekeepers. And it's through a program called Women for Bees, launched by Guerlain in collaboration with UNESCO and the OFA. To talk about this program, I'm joined today by Angelina Jolie. She's going to talk to us about her role in this initiative and where the program is going next. Angelina, thank you so much for being here today. You are the godmother of this program. It's a new role for you, but in a long trajectory of humanitarian and activism work. How did this come to be? I mean, how did you get involved?
In bees?
In bees? In the Women for Bees program in general.
Well, I have about 17 years ago, around the time I adopted my son Mad, started to work in an area of Cambodia on the Thai border, which is Samlot, which was the first and last stronghold of the Khmer Rouge. And first came in thinking of community development and demining. But then quickly, when you're working with human beings, you realize the environment around them is what you must protect. And so we grew into a project that would be focused on conservation as well as community development. And over the years, while focusing on anti-poaching and demining and fighting the illegal logging, it becomes clear to everyone that we must start focusing on the bees and why, and the pollinators, and not only because of their connection to food source and our biodiversity, but also as a skill and a vocation for people in our area in Samlot. And then as I started to work with Guerlain, we spoke often about the bees and the commitment that Guerlain already had to the bees. So then when we were in Cambodia shooting the last perfume commercial, we visited some of the project together and programs, and I learned about theirs. And then we really started to talk about what could we do to improve the situation. What could we do both for the bees and also for women, and what would that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And
so what does that look like? So we're, maybe we back up a minute and you could tell us where we are right now and why that's important for this program, which is looking to drive awareness around just how vital the bees are to our entire ecosystem.
Well, we're in OFA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's less a place and more a foundation where there's so much research and training being done from here. This is the center in many ways, and so, I have to say, I thought I knew something about bees and beekeeping and training, and I thought I understood the importance. But really, when you really dig into it and you really start to learn about what, for example, we would lose, 30% of the honeybees disappearing, and had we not had the beekeepers and the work of places like OFA, we would lose them. Sure. What happens when we lose them? What happens when we lose them all? What happens when we continue to? So it's one of those. I didn't join this work thinking I wanted to. I wasn't a young environmentalist, right? I'm more a humanist, and I've been very active in displacement and the politics of fighting against persecution. But it always leads back to environment, right? Even displaced people are often displaced because of the damage to the environment. We think of this future where we have no bees or a lack of food because the pollinators are gone. We think about it in some sci-fi way, like it's hundreds of years from now, right? But it's now. It really is. And I feel funny saying it, like I'm being some kind of, but scientifically, very clearly, we are seeing our world drastically change rapidly. In the last decade, the numbers of people displaced doubled.
So that must be why you think it's important to educate people on the diversity of local beekeeping practices, because perhaps this is a small way that people can get involved and contribute. We can't maybe change the world.
Right.
You know, is that how you sort of look at this?
I think it's a few things. I think just educating yourself and understanding, because I'm doing that today, just walking around here, I feel like I'm overwhelmed with new information, and there's a lot to learn, even about the medicinal aspects of honey and bees. But yes, what can everybody do, right? It's one of those where you see something and you think, well, that's great, but I have no idea how to tackle that or how that relates to me. And it is something that everyone can do. Yes, you can train to be a beekeeper, and that's wonderful. But yeah, even just within your own home, there are ways that individuals could keep some bees, or into the awareness and the encouragement of these kind of programs. And that's a part of something in their life to focus on being virtuous, being connected, feeling just in touch with yourself, making something, creating something, connecting to something, and feeling that you're contributing and being a part of something in life that grounds you, and what they had shared together. So I think for a lot of people, that's what we're, in whatever way you find it, I think it's what a lot of people are looking for as well. And
so do you find that inspiring that many of them, I mean, most of them have changed their entire lives, professional lives, to come and do this? Their futures are going to be much different now.
I find that very moving. We spoke about funny, and now I'm starting to, get like, when you've been around bees too long, then people start making bee jokes all the time, because now you're bee people. But they did mention at lunch that the bee, through the process of its life, keeps changing its job.
Aha.
Right? It keeps adapting to different skill sets and keeps being of a different position in the hive. Because they were talking about that as they were referencing they're seeing that, okay, now this is this time in my life, I'm going to learn a new skill, I'm going to transition. Now there's something else. What else is there for me? What else can I do? What else can I be? Why don't I just stop what I'm doing and go in this other path in life and see where it takes me? And I think that's very cool.
Does that resonate with you personally? Does it, like that you can
yes.
imagine different paths of life?
It's brought me through so much in my life. Always. I mean, I don't know what else there is in life. I mean, you love you love the people you love. You nurture them. You try to be a part of something, feeling of use. But I imagine what we're here for as human beings in some ways, to be of use, but also explore who we are and try to find a way to be that in full. And if that isn't constantly growing and transforming, then we're not really living. And we go through many things in our lives that stop us.
Very true.
But to remember, which I think for these women, some of these women, that was that moment, to remember to just try something different and reconnect. And
so do you think this community of women beekeepers is going to become, a next big movement, that we're going to try to get women all over the world, even beyond this, involved in something that's, of course, bigger than them, but, where they can still have an impact?
Well, I would like to think that programs like this will be happening all over the world. So maybe this is the bees, maybe there's the tree planting, maybe there's the multiple different groups. But I certainly think we're living at a time where, if you're not thinking about the world as one, if you're not seeing that we're all, to survive, we need to think in this internationalist way, then I don't know where your mind is at, because that is the only way it works. And so for any project, whether it be an art project or a bee project, it has to be global. That is how we live now. And so I'm hoping it will be one of, I think, those big, beautiful global, movements. I hope there are many, and I hope they overlap, and I hope it's just the new way we live.
And so if you were to give them, these women that you've met today, words of advice as they journey onto their, their next adventure, so to speak, what do you want to leave them with? What kinds of words of encouragement?
I don't know if I need to give that words of encouragement for them. I think they know. I mean, to be very honest, I landed here today. They've been here a month. They taught me something today. I didn't bring knowledge to them. They already found it here with each other, thinking about the cycles of life, thinking about what needs to be done, participating in ways to make improvements, being together. And to sit with them and they speak often of virtue and humility and life. I don't think they need any advice from me. I think they're good.
So this program is going to continue, as you mentioned, as of September. We're going to see it go to Cambodia, to Ethiopia, Peru, Russia, China. What do you feel knowing that it's finally going to be sort of, the wings are going to expand and it's going to just take off?
Oh, I feel so excited. I feel like today really made it feel real. We've been talking about it for so long. We've seen different projects and programs, but real credit to OFA and Guerlain and UNESCO and everyone who's working on this, that they really, when they thought about it with a full commitment. Because there's a lot of companies, a lot of projects that decide that they're going to do a little something so they can say they're doing it, right? And we see that far too often. They don't have that full commitment, and they don't, and their heart isn't deeply connected. And today, here, I felt you felt a family. There was a moment where everybody talked about what it was and toasted each other, and then somebody said, "But we're a family," and then everybody toasted to family. And not often do you genuinely feel that when you want to build something like this. So it's a nice family.
Well, we can't wait to see where this goes, how it develops, and we hope to see you then in Cambodia, perhaps.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Angelina.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for joining this special Instagram Live with Guerlain. We hope you're as excited as we are to see where the program goes next. Women for Bees will be going from the south of France to, well, all over the world. So stay tuned and see where we go. À bientôt.